Stir the pot, stir the pot. Amber, you kind of cooking. You're just kind of cooking. I mean, I'm not gonna lie and say I'm not gonna say you're cooking. We expected this to be done, but it is a great thing that it is official. Ink to paper, baby. Ink to paper. Tres Leches is back in full effect. The blonde bomber, okay? The one who was willing to fight and throw the Hadoukens. Sophie Cunningham is officially back in the fold. And Kelsey Plum took a $400,000 pay cut, and that is raising many questions.
All right, Fever fans, buckle up. The WNBA offseason is always chaotic, but this is next level. We're stirring the pot today with breaking news that has Caitlin Clark potentially fired up, not just because Sophie Cunningham officially returns to the Indiana Fever alongside Lexie Hull, but because of the ripple effects across the entire league. The official return of Tres Leches signing that ink to paper is huge for our squad, bringing that grit and scoring we desperately need. But then you have this bombshell about Kelsey Plum and her massive pay cut, suddenly making Kelsey Mitchell's contract look a certain way. We're diving deep into what this means for the Fever's championship aspirations, roster flexibility, and the undeniable pressure on our star players. Let's get into it.
Sophie Cunningham, let me move this right here. Boom. Sophie Cunningham has agreed to a one-year deal to return to the Indiana Fever, sources told ESPN. Cunningham joins guards Kelsey Mitchell and Lexie Hull in coming back to the Fever. Indiana has also added newcomers Monique Billings and Ty Harris so far this free agency, okay? So
this official confirmation from ESPN is huge for the Fever. Sophie Cunningham re-signing for a one-year deal adds crucial guard depth and that much-needed veteran leadership alongside Kelsey Mitchell and Lexie Hull. We're building something special here in Indiana and bringing back proven talent like Sophie, while also adding experienced players like Monique Billings and Ty Harris shows a clear commitment to winning now. The one-year deal for Sophie is interesting though. It hints at the Fever's long-term strategy and desire for flexibility, especially with potential big contracts for Aaliyah Boston and future stars like Caitlin Clark on the horizon. It's a smart move to maintain cap space while still securing a key contributor for the upcoming season.
Added this commentary to it. Not shocking to see Indiana dealing out one-year deals. Kelsey Mitchell, too. Remember, Caitlin Clark can get a big salary bump next year under the new Epic provision. Aaliyah Boston is eligible for it this year. Fever would have to do some retooling.
This insight from Alexa Phillip is crucial for understanding the Fever's strategy. It's not just Sophie. Even Kelsey Mitchell's current contract has implications. The Fever aren't just signing players. They're playing chess with their salary cap. With Aaliyah Boston eligible for a significant pay bump this year under the new collective bargaining agreement's Epic provision, which rewards young stars, and the potential for Caitlin Clark to command a similar massive contract next year, Indiana needs all the flexibility it can get. One-year deals like Sophie's allow them to remain competitive in the short term while keeping their options open for building a sustainable championship contender. They're thinking several steps ahead, ensuring they can retain their foundational stars.
I know Sophie Cunningham was looking for long-term security, okay? I believe she was trying to get 2 to 3 years out of Indiana. And they just like, look, you're not a spring chicken. You're not, you've been in the league. You're a vet. You're not old, but you're a vet.
It's completely understandable that a veteran player like Sophie Cunningham would be looking for long-term security. After years in the league, a 2 or 3 year deal offers stability, especially in a physically demanding sport like basketball. However, the Fever's decision to only offer a 1-year contract, despite Sophie's clear desire for more, speaks volumes about their current approach. They recognize her value and veteran presence, but they also have to consider their long-term financial health and the ongoing evolution of their roster. It's a tough business decision that balances immediate needs with future aspirations, and it shows the front office is prioritizing flexibility above all else right now.
You are coming off of a real knee injury, and we need to see you prove that you're healthy and all of that, and we have no problem giving you another contract next off season if you come back healthy, get through the season, help us win, and all of those things. But I think the Indiana Fever were a bit apprehensive about committing to Sophie long term.
The primary reason for the Fever's apprehension regarding a long-term deal for Sophie Cunningham, as highlighted here, is her recent knee injury. It's a pragmatic approach. While they value her contributions, investing multiple years in a player coming off a significant injury carries inherent risks. The Fever are essentially saying, prove your health, show us you can stay on the court for a full season, and we'll revisit a longer commitment next year. This puts the ball squarely in Sophie's court, motivating her to perform at her best and demonstrate her durability. It's a high-stakes scenario for her, but a smart risk management strategy for the Fever as they navigate their championship window.
I believe the Indiana Fever don't want to tie themselves to too many people in the long term, okay? You got Michaela Timpson long term, you got Monique Billings long term, you got Caitlin, Aaliyah, and Lexie. I think the Indiana Fever want the freedom and flexibility.
This really solidifies the Fever's overarching philosophy. They don't want to be locked into too many long-term contracts. While players like Michaela Thompson and Monique Billings are on longer deals, and key pieces like Aaliyah Boston, Lexie Hall, and potentially Caitlin Clark are crucial to their future, the Fever are aiming for maximum freedom and flexibility. This isn't about undervaluing current talent. It's about strategic roster management. They want the agility to make moves, whether it's signing new free agents or utilizing draft picks effectively, without being handcuffed by cap restrictions. This approach allows them to adapt and evolve, crucial for building a sustained contender in the competitive WNBA.
You get young, okay, if Yana Nipkins or Jaquez is available at 10, you draft them, and then you have a Sophie Cunningham replacement after next year. This may be Sophie Cunningham last year, guy. I'm just letting y'all know that. I'm just letting y'all know that now. The Indiana Fever did not want to commit to Sophie Cunningham long term, so this may be the last go round. So let's enjoy Tres Leches.
This is a sobering thought for Fever fans. This could potentially be Sophie Cunningham's last year in Indiana. The strategic desire to get young and the mention of potential draft picks like Yana Nipkins or Hawks as future replacements highlight the cold, hard business side of professional sports. While we celebrate Sophie's return for this season, the front office is clearly thinking about the long game. They're evaluating talent, future draft classes, and how to best position the team for a dynasty. It's tough to hear, but it emphasizes why we need to truly appreciate Tres Leches this season and enjoy every moment she brings her fiery game to the court.
Here it said, this is from yesterday when Sophie Cunningham was feeling a bit left out, okay? She said, the no invite is crazy. You two better make up for this horrible TikTok. And then a day later, Sophie Cunningham is back. Tres Leches is back in full effect, okay?
This is a fantastic bit of behind-the-scenes drama that makes Sophie's return even more delightful. Just yesterday, she's playfully calling out her teammates for a horrible TikTok and feeling left out with no invite. And then boom, the very next day the news drops that Tres Leches is officially back. It's moments like these that remind us of the camaraderie and personality within these teams. It adds a human touch to the contract negotiations, showing that despite the serious business decisions, there's a real bond. This kind of interaction just fuels the excitement for her return, and we love to see her back in full effect, ready to stir things up both on and off the court.
Really quick, before we get to this Kelsey Mitchell.
Sophie Cunningham's return to Indiana provides the Fever a key boost at guard depth, bringing back one of the league's premier shooters and instant momentum swingers in the WNBA.
The Fever's own statement on Sophie Cunningham's return perfectly encapsulates her value. She's not just a body, she's a key boost at guard depth, and critically, one of the league's premier shooters and instant momentum swingers. This highlights exactly what she brings to the court: the ability to change the game with her long-range precision and her undeniable fiery energy. In a league where shooting is paramount, having a player who can consistently knock down threes and shift momentum is invaluable. This recognition from the team underscores why, despite the one-year deal, securing Sophie for another season was a priority, providing a much-needed offensive spark and competitive edge.
Due to injuries, Cunningham was never able to fully display what she was capable of in year one in Indiana. 2 May ankle injuries kept her from getting off to the start she wanted. And then, quite simply, she morphed into perhaps the league's best shooter.
This deep dive into Sophie Cunningham's performance last season despite the injuries is absolutely eye-opening. To think she battled 2 May ankle injuries and still managed to morph into perhaps the league's best shooter for over a month hitting a scalding 53% from 3 is incredible. That kind of elite efficiency from beyond the arc isn't just good, it's game-changing. It explains why the Fever, even with their long-term cap considerations and injury concerns, absolutely had to bring her back. Imagine what she can do if she stays fully healthy for an entire season.
Over more than a month's time. From July 11th through August 15th, Cunningham shot an absolutely scalding 53% from the three-point line. She was the top three-point shooter in the WNBA over that time.
Her ability to stretch the floor and provide that kind of spacing is vital for the Fever's offensive attack, making her a true difference maker. The statistics speak for themselves. From July 11th through August 15th, Cunningham wasn't just good. She was the top three-point shooter in the WNBA at a remarkable 53%. That's a huge weapon in today's game, forcing defenses to extend and creating driving lanes for teammates. This level of impact is exactly why the Fever prioritized her return, recognizing that her unique skill set is essential for their overall offensive strategy and competitive aspirations, even on a one-year agreement.
Situation, okay? This was broken by Shams, okay? Kelsey Plum to sign a one-year, basically a one-year $1 million contract with the Sparks, okay? Plum could have signed for the Supermax, but took less to give the Sparks more flexibility.
And just like that, we pivot to the bombshell that has sent shockwaves through the league and directly impacts discussions around our own players. The news from Shams about Kelsey Plum signing a one-year $1 million deal with the Sparks is massive, not just for LA, but for the entire WNBA. The key detail here is that Plum could have signed for the Supermax, which would have been significantly more, but she intentionally took less. This isn't just a player signing a contract. It's a star making a deliberate choice to prioritize team flexibility and championship aspirations over personal maximum earnings. This move immediately draws a stark contrast and, unfortunately for some, casts a new light on Kelsey Mitchell's recent contract decision.
Apparently, she took $400,000 less, okay? She was available for the Supermax of $1.4 million, okay? And she took $400,000 less, basically.
Let's be crystal clear about the numbers here, because they're staggering. Kelsey Plum left a cool $400,000 on the table. She was eligible for a Supermax contract of $1.4 million, but opted for a $1 million deal. $400,000 is a significant amount of money in any profession, let alone the WNBA, where players are constantly fighting for fair compensation. This wasn't a small concession, it was a substantial financial sacrifice. This kind of dedication to team building, this willingness to put collective success over individual earnings, is rare and commands respect. It's a move that will be discussed for years, and it inevitably raises questions about other players who did take their maximum allowed salary.
And this has a lot of people feeling a way toward Kelsey Mitchell, okay? A lot of people are feeling a way toward Kelsey Mitchell because Kelsey Mitchell took every single dollar, okay? Take a look at this here. Kelsey Plum signing a one-year $1 million deal to return to the Los Angeles Sparks. Plum was in line for $1.4 million.
And this is where the controversy directly hits home for Fever fans. The immediate comparison being drawn between Kelsey Plum and our own Kelsey Mitchell is unavoidable, and it's generating a strong reaction. Many fans are now feeling a way about Mitchell because, in stark contrast to Plum, she took every single dollar of her Supermax contract. While no one should begrudge a player maximizing their earnings, especially in a league where pay isn't always equitable, the optics of Plum's move are powerful. It forces a conversation about perceived commitment to winning versus individual financial gain, and it puts Mitchell under an uncomfortable spotlight, whether fair or not.
But opted to sign at a discounted rate to give LA financial flexibility to build a title contender. Now, a lot of people are saying, hey, man, this is what we were saying Kelsey would have done if she was serious about trying to win.
The motivation behind Plum's pay cut is clear. It was explicitly done to give LA financial flexibility to build a title contender. This isn't just speculation, it's a stated goal, and that, unfortunately, is the critical point that many fans are using to scrutinize Kelsey Mitchell's decision. The sentiment is that if Mitchell were serious about trying to win, she too would have considered a similar sacrifice to help the Fever bring in more talent around her. It's a harsh judgment, but in the highly competitive world of professional sports, where every dollar counts towards building a championship roster, these comparisons are inevitable and incredibly impactful on public perception.
Now, this is going to be a talking point for a while. This is going to be a major talking point because Kelsey Mitchell did not take less. And I said, I got to be honest with you. I said, I'm not going to be a proponent of someone feeling like forcing on someone to feel like they need to take less. So I'm still going to do that. But
this isn't a fleeting story. This comparison between Plum and Mitchell is going to be a major talking point for a while. It sparks a fundamental debate about player agency versus team success. As the commentator notes, it's tricky to advocate for players to have to take less, especially when they've earned their value. The WNBA's pay structure means players often have limited opportunities to earn significant money. However, the precedent set by Plum and others creates a new standard for perceived commitment. It creates a tension where fans expect a balance, and when it feels out of sync, the scrutiny is intense, even if the personal financial decision is entirely rational.
Kelsey Mitchell, we have seen a lot of people taking less. I'm just saying, it's been a lot of players that are taking less. I'm not demanding that you do, but you took the 1.4 Supermax. You played in Unrivaled. You played in Project B. You got some. Hey. I'm just saying, Kelsey Plum took $400K less. She trying to win. They was able to get NECA because of it.
The host drives home the point by reminding us that Kelsey Plum isn't an anomaly. We have seen a lot of people taking less. This isn't an isolated incident. It's a growing trend among players who are prioritizing team flexibility. While acknowledging that he's not demanding anyone take a pay cut, the direct comparison hits hard. Mitchell took her full $1.4 million Supermax, while Plum left $400K on the table, explicitly to help her team the Sparks acquire other key pieces like Emeka Ogwumike. The implications are clear. One player made a financial sacrifice to build a contender, while the other prioritized their maximum earnings. It's a tough look for Mitchell, regardless of individual justifications.
A way about this Kelsey Mitchell thing and her taking every single dollar that was left on the table are 100% going to feel validated by the fact that players like Kelsey Plum, and there's a slew of other players who have taken significantly less to have a chance to win.
This final point perfectly encapsulates the emotional and psychological impact of Plum's decision. For those fans and analysts who have felt a way about Kelsey Mitchell's contract and her choice to take every dollar, Kelsey Plum's move provides 100% validation. It reinforces the idea that true championship contenders sometimes require sacrifices, not just on the court, but in the negotiation room. When you see multiple high-profile players making significant financial concessions to build a winning roster, it inevitably creates a benchmark. It elevates the conversation beyond individual contracts to the broader philosophy of team building, and it undeniably intensifies the pressure on players who don't follow suit to explain their commitment to winning.